Hello, and welcome to the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at Berkshire Community College. We are a community of over 1,500 people committed to learning and having fun. We offer 4 terms of courses each year taught by volunteer instructors, and additionally offer scores of events, speakers, and programs to connect the members of our OLLI community with each other and the world. I'm Carol Allman-Morton, the Executive Director of OLLI at Berkshire Community College. We are a volunteer-driven organization. In addition to courses and events, we have a number of shared interest groups that members are encouraged to join. You can learn more at berkshireolli.org/SIG, S-I-G. We have a number of events coming up, and you can see the complete listing at berkshireolli.org/events. The fall semester begins in September. Most classes will meet for 6 sessions, though some more and some fewer. Courses will be a mix of in-person and online, with in-person classes meeting at a variety of locations. Be sure to check the catalog. Thank you to our instructors for your expertise and care in preparing and leading these courses. And as always, thank you to all the volunteers on our curriculum committees who made this semester possible. Our in-person open house is August 13th at 10 a.m. at Berkshire Community College. So if you're watching this video before that date, I encourage you to come, meet instructors and other members, and get a tour of campus. Registration opens August 13th at 1 p.m., but course information is now live on our website if you want to get a head start on reading descriptions. Learn more about our fall courses at berkshireolli.org/fall 2024. On many of the course description pages, there are videos from instructors to give an introduction to their courses, and these are also compiled into this video. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy learning more about what's coming up this fall at OLLI at BCC. Take care.
Hi, I'm Pamela Kirinali, and I'm here to tell you about my new OLLI course, How to Paint a Landscape. This course will begin on Monday morning, September 16th, in the art studio here at Berkshire Community College and run from 9:30 to 11. We will continue the course until the last week in October. Have you ever seen a landscape that was so stunning that you wished you could sit down and sketch it out or even do a painting of it? Well, now you can learn, and in a fun, relaxed way. We begin with a simple formula for layout and then discuss shapes. After sketching out the picture, we'll then learn a bit about painting, including light and shade, texture, and color mixing. And along the way, I will provide extra examples of landscape painting throughout art history. I've been teaching art since 1975 and have worked with all levels from PK3 to seniors in their 90s. And because I'm a grandmother myself, I also include a simpler version of this lesson that you can do with children. Art is such a fun, peaceful, and inspiring activity to share, and kids love it. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bring yourself and your supplies and wear casual clothes that can handle paint. No need to wear a beret.
Hello, my name is Phil Daly, and I've been asked to put together a short 3-minute overview of the course that I'm going to be teaching for OLLI. So this will be a quick overview, but I hope will give you a taste of the course. The course itself is divided into 6 sessions. And in the course of those sessions, we're going to cover a whole variety of topics. We'll begin, as is almost inevitable when talking about the philosophy of ideas, in the French Revolution, with a disgraced aristocrat by the name of de Tracy, who invented the term ideology, right up until the present day. And in fact, one of our topics will be, can we look at someone like Donald Trump and say that he is an ideologist, or is this a cult of personality? Well, I'll leave that for a later discussion. There are 6 sessions, as I mentioned. They won't be exclusively done in chronological order, but here are some of the topics. The French origin, the impact of European parties and groups on the discussion about ideology. We'll have a special visit from New York Times columnist and author Jim Brooke, who many of you, I think, have probably seen in his presentations on ideology. We'll get into ideology and art and culture, revolutionary socialism, and finally, totalitarianism versus democracy. As you might guess, this course is going to be varied. It's not going to be exclusively chronological. There'll be a lot of time for discussion and a lot of time to look at the breadth of ideology. And one of the things that I'm quite interested in doing is looking at ideology in culture, because ideology is often seen as strictly political ideology, but our course will be much broader than that. So please join us this fall for ideologies, modern ideologies, a survey of trends in politics, art, and philosophy. It should be a lot of fun, and I'll see you then.
Hello, and welcome to our class, Beginning Acting, Creating a Character.
My name is Jeannie Marlin Woods. I'm an actor and stage director. I retired to the Berkshires after a 30-year career teaching theater in universities and working in regional and international theater.
And I am Dan Woods, and I've been an actor for most of my life, working with Jeannie in our theater companies, the New Stage Ensemble and Starry Night Repertory Theater, as well as in university and regional companies.
Back in April of this year, Dan and I taught a course in basic theater techniques for Ollie at the Foundry. The class was focused on improving reading skills from a printed text. Students were assigned a short monologue and coached in the reading. The final class was an hour-long program presented for an invited audience.
The success of that class has encouraged us to offer another acting class, which we are calling Beginning Acting, Creating a Character.
In this class, we will focus on how an actor develops a character. Our Ollie students will be guided through the actor's process of analyzing a play from the character's perspective. The whole class will work on the same play. Each actor will be assigned a role to study. The choice of play will be determined by the makeup of the class.
After our class last spring, many students asked for a class to delve deeper into the actor's process of text analysis. So this class is designed to do just that. Actors will each study one role. Some roles may be double cast or have an understudy to cover when the student misses a class, and everyone will get to participate in the discussion and creative process.
It is important to note that this class will meet more frequently than the usual Ollie class. Classes will be twice a week for 90 minutes each. Starting on September 16th, we will meet at 1:30 to 3:30 every Monday and Thursday. Classes will be in a seminar room at Berkshire Community College. The 12th and final class will be on Monday, October 28th.
On Thursday, October 31st, our hard work will culminate in an Ollie special event for public reading of the complete play. That reader's theater performance will be billed as a performance by the newly formed Ollie Players.
We certainly hope you will join us in this unique Ollie class, no matter if you are a pure amateur, a lover of the theater, or a seasoned professional. We're looking forward to creating a delightful performance for the public and experiencing together the joy of theater.
Oh, one more important note. We highly recommend that you register early because the class size is limited and the last class filled up quickly.
If you do have questions, the Ollie office can provide our contact information, and we will also be at the Ollie Open House on August 13th. Thanks for taking the time to view our video. We hope to see you in class.
Hi, my name is Richard Eason. I'll be teaching the course, The Curse of Living in a Hydrocarbon Age. I'm a retired Foreign Service officer, spent 32 years overseas, including 12 in the Middle East. I worked on oil and gas issues a number of times, including serving as the oil and gas reporting officer at the American Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the biggest producer of petroleum and gas at the time. We have all lived our entire lives through a hydrocarbon age, this hydrocarbon age. Hydrocarbons fuel much of our lives and make many of the things with which we live, plastics among other things. But they bring with them something economists call externalities, impacts beyond the basic uses of the items and the products, that usually implying some negative aspects. With hydrocarbons, these include corruption, inefficiency, distorted economics, vicious power struggles over these hydrocarbon resources, civil wars, revolutions, and Islamic extremism and dictatorships. You would not have Putin or Al Qaeda if you didn't have oil that fund their power struggles. There are reasons hydrocarbons are called the resource curse. Not climate change. This class will not look at climate change, but basically everything else to do with our use of hydrocarbons. They affect everything: the environment, pollution, government, economic development, foreign policy, international relations in general. The course will look at all of these externalities, including how the use of hydrocarbons drives even the structures of our societies themselves, with our cities paved with highways, roads, parking lots, and millions of people making long commutes every single day. By the end of the course, you can judge for yourselves whether you see hydrocarbons as a godsend or a devil's bargain. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carol Owens. I'm sitting in the garden of the Stockbridge Library, and not far from me is a sign that says if you have a book and a garden, you have everything you need. So here we are. This fall, I'm going to teach a course called Notable Women of the 18th Century, and you may well ask yourself, how can a woman who could not speak in public, who had no standing in court, who could not hold a job and could not vote, be notable? What would she do to become notable? Because in our century, a notable woman would be someone famous or really effective in the public arena, and they were locked to house and home. So, if you step back into the 1700s, to the world of women, you will find that they were notable in many ways, not the least of which is when they dressed up as men and lived their lives, or when they took their drunk husband to court, although they had to get a man to stand in for her, so that she could retain the cow, because he would have sold the cow, drunk the profits, and she and her children would have starved. Sadly, we don't know if she won the cow. Or there was the woman on Main Street, Stockbridge, that walked down the road to the home of Theodore Sedgwick and said, "Sir, will you help me write a letter?" Because she wanted a taverner's license, and women were not allowed to touch alcohol if the bottle was open. We'll find out if she got her license. It's fun. Just come with the mindset that it's very, very different than our world today, and that these women were very, very different. But we're going to meet them.
I am hoping you will find Milestones in Medicine as a participant as interesting as I found as an instructor preparing this course. Milestones in Medicine will document, mostly in chronological order, the fantastic story of the great achievements in the medicine dating from the late 1700s, when Jenner discovered a vaccine to effectively treat smallpox, at the time one of the great killers of our age. The course will take us on a journey through more than 2 centuries of one milestone after another in 10 chapters, familiarizing us with the drama and achievements of the great physicians and scientists whose work and discoveries opened the door to these spellbinding achievements. We will also regularly pause to learn more about these individuals' lives, both personal and professional, and we will take note of the profound, remarkable advances in public health which occurred in the late 1900s and early 20th centuries. It's really the pairing of both of these disciplines which now are principally responsible for the golden age in which we now live, with remarkable and observable improvements in lifespans, improved standards of living, and quality of life. I look forward to your participation in our class. Thank you.
I'm Don Jordan, and I'll be teaching a class called Send in the Clowns. Every one of us has a clown hidden inside, just waiting to jump out. Now you may ask, well, what is a clown? And I can't really tell you exactly. What I can tell you is that every clown is unique. Some talk a lot, some hardly talk at all. Some are dressed in lots of colors, and some are very drab. Some have a lot of surprising things in their pockets. Some don't have anything at all. What they all have in common is that they live in a world where imagination holds sway. And that's where we will go. You don't need any particular experience to be a clown, but you do need a nimble imagination and a desire to play and a willingness to laugh at yourself. I hope to see you there.
Hi, I'm Debbie Reinish, and I'm going to be teaching the language of film this fall on Wednesday mornings from 9:30 to 11:30 at the Triplex Cinema in Great Barrington, starting September 18th for 6 weeks. This is an in-person class. I've been a film and television director for years. I've also taught graduate students at Brooklyn College and undergraduates at NYU, and I am a film fan. To this day, I go to the movies as a fan. I don't go as a director or as a teacher. And like you, when I go to the movies, I want a satisfying emotional experience. I want to be challenged, I want to be moved, I want to be delighted, I want to be distracted, I want to laugh, I want to cry. But sometimes it's a good experience and sometimes it's not a good experience. So what makes the difference? I would take the position that what makes the difference is how the story is told. If we agree that a good story is a story well told, even more so on film. Because the truth is, 5 different directors would make 5 different movies from the very same script. So while it's important to start with a good script, it's how the story is told that makes the difference between a satisfying and an unsatisfactory experience. So that's what this class is going to be about. It's going to be about visual storytelling and about visual style. Because I think what makes the difference is the choices that a director and his or her collaborators make in terms of how the story is told that makes for a great film. So we're going to look at what I call the language of film, the elements of film style. That would be camera, sound, design, performance, editing, and how each of those elements are brought to this telling of a given story. Each week, I'm going to ask you to look at a classic film, come to class having seen it. These are all available to stream. And we'll talk about the film in terms of our topic of the week, but we'll also look at clips and stills from other movies to elucidate our topic, and hopefully we'll have a very good conversation. Hopefully when the class is over, you will come away with a greater awareness of all the elements that have been creating your experience all along. So what we're going to try and do is make the invisible visible. We'll also go to Film Columbia, wonderful film festival at the Crandall in October. It'll be the last class. We'll go the Tuesday night before, which I think is October 22nd. We'll have a meetup, we'll see the movie together, and we'll come to class the next morning and discuss that. We'll have popcorn, and that'll be the last class. For those of you who took this class last fall, this is going to be all different movies, but it will be the similar material. For those of you who took the New American Cinema with me in the spring, this is a very different class, so I hope you'll join me. So again, it's Wednesday mornings, 9:30 to 11:30, starting September 18th at the Triplex. Love to see you there. Hope you'll join me.
Hi, I'm Don Barkin. I'll be teaching a class in the fall called The Last Lap, Poems on Being Old, Dying, and the Afterlife. A lot of great poetry is written by poets in their youth about being young, but there's also a great deal of poetry, inspired poetry, written about other phases of life. Often older people are caricatured, as teenagers are. Even Shakespeare makes a caricature of old age in his 7 Ages of Man, and he says, last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. And often older people joke about the way they feel somehow disarmed by old age. But in this class, we're going to read poems that give voice to the full range of emotions and points of view of people as they approach what's thought of as the end of life. For instance, Dylan Thomas's great villanelle, "Do not go gentle into that good night," written when his father was dying, that recognized the old man had a lot of fire left in him, and the son, Dylan Thomas, did not want him to give up his fire, even as he approached the end. He says, "Good men the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay, rage, rage against the dying of the light." That is, all of us had hoped to make some things happen in our time on earth. And when the end comes and we recognize maybe we might have succeeded in a better world, in a green bay, we have to keep that vision alive. It's our right to keep that vision alive. Then there's William Blake, whose advice in his little poem Eternity is, he says, "He who binds to himself a joy, does the winged life destroy. He who kisses the joy as it flies, lives in eternity's sunrise." That is, the universe within us is always recreating itself if we are alive, are alive moment to moment. So we'll be reading a wide range of poems by Walt Whitman, Emily Dickinson, Louise Gluck, William Carlos Williams. And if my experience with OLLI groups is a good guide, we'll be instructing each other in the meanings of these poems and the pleasures of them, and in the experience of age. We'll be taking ourselves seriously. I hope to see you in the fall.
Hello, I'm Richard Maturo. This fall, I'll be teaching a course called Nathaniel Hawthorne and the Scarlet Letter. Now, I know that a lot of us read the Scarlet Letter in high school, which is kind of unfortunate because we might look back at it now with some measure of condescension, as if it were written for adolescents. Of course, it wasn't. The Scarlet Letter was, in fact, the first American literary masterpiece and the first American novel to gain worldwide recognition. The subject of adultery had been the focus of many novels, most notably in Flaubert's Madame Bovary and Tolstoy's Anna Karenina. Both those authors, and many others, ended their stories with the heroine's suicide, apparently as her just punishment for having broken one of society's most stringent rules. But Hawthorne, who wrote his novel before any of these, takes a far more nuanced approach. He seems to understand that when a marriage is clearly a mismatch, a misery for one or both partners, it serves no earthly good to insist that it endure. Consequently, Hester Prynne is portrayed with exceptional empathy and understanding, nor does Hawthorne throw her under a train at the end. Instead, as a woman of considerable strength, Hester manages to survive in a puritanical, patriarchal society that made her wear a perpetual badge of shame. Moreover, her solitude and isolation forced her to think unconventional thoughts, including a dream that one day men and women would live as equals. Such outrageous concepts, had they been known by the Puritan fathers, would have been considered far worse than the crime for which she wore the Scarlet Letter. In this course, we will consider the novel in depth and its exploration into the deep psychology of love, guilt, and sorrow. We will also consider Hawthorne's life, his complicated psyche, and his growing pessimism about the world. This will be a discussion class, all invited to participate. It will be held on Wednesdays, 1 to 2:30 at BCC from September 18th through October 23rd. I hope you will join us.
Hi, I'm Jay Sherwin, and I'm leading a 4-session online course for Ollie at BCC on writing a legacy letter starting on September 18th. I hope you'll join us. These days, so many of us are thinking about what's really important to us, what we're proud of, what we're grateful for, what our lives have taught us. A legacy letter is a wonderful way to express those ideas. It's a gift to yourself and the people you love. So, what is a legacy letter? It's a brief personal statement that you write, share with loved ones, and preserve for future generations. It's shorter than a memoir, typically just a few pages, so it allows you to focus on your most important life lessons, your values, and the blessings you want to offer to your family and friends. In the course, I'll offer some advice and a simple model I've created to help you organize your thoughts and start writing. We'll complete a few brief writing exercises in each session, and then I'll invite people to share some of what they've written. That's the best part of the class. You'll get a little practice with this, and you'll get a chance to hear from others. I hope that will inspire you and encourage you to keep writing. I've taught this course for Ollie programs all over the country, and the response has been really positive. I'm very excited about teaching it again for Ollie at BCC. So please join me on September 18th and learn to write a legacy letter. I hope to see you then.
Hello, my name is Jim Cronick. I want to let you know that I'm not a polymer chemist. I'm not even an organic chemist. However, my career path has led me down the road that had a very heavy involvement with plastics of all types. We'll start with a review of the definitions used to describe the various plastics. These can be at times rather confusing, and I want to simplify them or at least cut through some of the confusion. A brief history of plastics, including substances that date back to prehistory, will be included. There are a number of plastics still used today that are derived from these natural substances, and I'll talk a little bit about them and their applications. I have a number of video clips and pictures that illustrate the plastics and rubber manufacturing processes that are used to produce the products that we see every day. We'll also discuss other types of plastics like PVC, PET, polycarbonate, polyethylene, polypropylene, etc. Elastomers will be a session by itself. These produce an enormous amount of waste. Just visualize the wearing of tires on the road and the rubber particles that are left behind in the environment. What are the hazards of all of these various plastics and polymers? In general, what opportunities still exist for recycling and reuse? I want to encourage everyone to ask questions. I thank you, and I hope to see you.
Thank you all for taking time to learn more about the workshop from first to final draft and how it came about. Like many of you, when I retired after a long career, I thought it would be fun to write short stories about my jobs, my trips, and some of the people I had met along the way. I'd been writing for years, but I was rusty, so I drafted a short story and left it sitting on my laptop for weeks until one day, tired of looking at it, I decided to complete the final draft and send it out for publication. When it was accepted, no one was more surprised than I was. Encouraged, I kept at it. I joined a writer's group and took classes. I found a narrative voice that felt right in a genre called narrative nonfiction. I was having a great time taking experiences from my life, using my imagination, and crafting stories I thought others would enjoy. As I continued to publish in a variety of literary journals, I realized I was having fun. I created from first and final draft to help others experience the same satisfaction. So here's what we'll be doing in this interactive workshop. Following an intro session, each participant will pick one story to work on for the next 5 weeks. Maybe it's that story you've always wanted to tell, the one that makes your friends laugh or cry, the one that brings back memories of times gone by, or the one about yesterday's trip to the hardware store. During the term, we'll focus on narrative nonfiction. The beauty of this genre is that while a story may be grounded in real experience, the writer is free to shift things around using basic elements of good storytelling, entertain and make a point. You can add a character or leave one out, change names to protect the innocent or the guilty, add a few years or drop some. Narrative nonfiction gives the writer license to create a personal piece of work. During the term, as you're writing and editing, I'll be sharing examples from masters of the craft, and we'll review the basic elements of storytelling. What makes a great plot? What makes an engaging cast of characters? And how do you create a narrator whose voice keeps your attention? What's the best point of view for your story? And how do you incorporate description and dialogue and humor if that's your writing voice? Whether you're new to this or an experienced writer, there's value in reviewing the basics and applying them to the work in progress. During each class, participants will read sections of their stories to help writers understand what's working and how to strengthen the work. If you're new to the process of critiquing, you will learn the protocols for effective critique. It's useful in any future class or workshop. At our final session, we'll review sources and options for publication and ways to increase the odds that your piece will be selected. And we'll share how participants developed their writing habits during the 6 weeks we were together. By the end of the term, you'll have a finished piece, a piece that you can, if you wish, send out for publication for others to enjoy. Throughout the term, I'll be available to answer questions, and after our last session, I look forward to hearing about the success of your work. Before the sessions begin, I'll send along names of a few books that I've found useful. And each week, you'll receive 1 or 2 stories that we can read and discuss together. I hope to see you in class. Until then, happy writing.
Hi there, I'm Christine Casey, and I will once again be teaching my Introduction to Opera course this fall on Thursdays from 1:30 to 3 o'clock on Zoom. Each class session will focus upon one of 6 operas, all masterpieces of the repertoire, and will include information on the composer, the librettist, how they came to write this piece in the first place, the first productions and their casts, along with the first United States productions. I will follow all of that with a slideshow of the important scenes in that opera, along with audio clips from an exceptional recording of the piece. I'll try to include a few other things, such as the possible challenges to the singers and other interesting facts. And don't worry, I will provide English translations of everything you will hear. I will begin with Verdi's A Masked Ball, followed by Offenbach's Tales of Hoffmann, Donizetti's Lucia di Lammermoor, Wagner's Tristan und Isolde, Puccini's Girl of the Golden West, and I'll finish with Strauss's Die Fledermaus. Opera is an interesting and very complex art form, and I hope you will join me in this study. Again, that's Thursdays from 1:30 till 3 o'clock. I hope to see you soon.
Hello, I am Deborah Golden Alexson, and I will be guiding us through this Berkshire Ollie offering called Collective Mortality. I have taken some notes for the video, so please bear with me if I look down from time to time. This course moves through 4 aspects in the field of thanatology, which is the study of death, dying, and bereavement, that I think is relevant to the times in which we find ourselves. The first is a theoretical understanding of how human beings respond to reminders of death, called the terror management theory. Dr. Sheldon Solomon, a social psychologist, was one of 3 originators of this theory, and he will be our guest for this exploration. His work and those of his colleagues are based on the writing of Ernest Becker, cultural anthropologist who wrote the Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Denial of Death. The second is a practical understanding. We will cover end-of-life options, including the difference between medical aid in dying, MAID, and a chosen death. We will discuss advance directives and other preparations for when we are in our dying time. Randy Lakehind, a board member of the Death with Dignity organization, Final Exit Network, will join us for this session. The third aspect is historical and another example of collective mortality. Helena Rosenkrantz, mental health counselor and Holocaust educator, will lead us in discussion about genocide, specifically the Holocaust. We will also compare the ultra-right, white Christian MAGA movement in the United States with fascism and the Nazi movement. The fourth session will be personal. How does each of us understand the consequence of global warming for ourselves, our loved ones, our community, and the planet? I will lead us in discussion about death anxiety and death denial and how these affect consequential choices and decisions that we make. Serious stuff, not for the faint-hearted. All our guests are dear friends of mine, and I am thrilled that they are taking the time to join us and share their insights. I am giving you a warning. If you are looking to distract yourself this fall with a course, this is not the course for you. My goal is to have us explore new ways of thinking about ourselves, our relationships, and our priorities in the face of what I deem to be a bleak reality. If you don't think it is, I welcome your optimism. Everyone is free to express their thoughts and feelings about everything. I look forward to meeting you all.
Welcome to the course Understanding Local Government. I'm Mike Canales.
And I'm Patrick White. We're teaching this class for Ollie this fall in September and October. There's 4 sessions starting in late September, Fridays 9:30 to 11. This course is going to offer an exploration of the structure and functions of local government in the Berkshires, providing a foundation for anyone aspiring to contribute, whether as a volunteer, a candidate for public office, an employee, or an informed citizen. The course will emphasize issue advocacy and political considerations, that's my part, as well as best practices for sound management, that's Michael's part, ensuring that learners understand the tools needed to make effective and efficient decisions in local government.
The curriculum will focus on public management theory. We'll look at real-world practice, cover topics about efficiency, advocacy, budgeting, financial management, human resources, challenges, strategic leadership, all the fun stuff. Participants will learn how municipal officials' roles are integral and how they work together to create a successful community, fostering an understanding of local government. We'll look at case studies, we'll look at what's happening around the area, current and in the past, and real-world scenarios and how communities can best work.
We're also going to have some guest speakers. In fact, just today, I told my friend Mary Beth Mitz from the Linux Select Board that we're doing this, and she offered to do a little case study for one of the sessions on on the Brushwood Farm project in Lenox and all the work that went into getting that done, which I think will be really interesting. Look, this is consensus government. Whether you want to volunteer on a committee or run for office or participate in town government as an employee, working together is the key here. So what we're going to do is just lay it all out about how it works and encourage you to be part of the solution. Much of the work that goes into these towns and into Pittsfield, North Adams, is consensus driven, is volunteer driven, and we want to encourage you to get involved. Michael and I are both Berkshire natives, and we really love the area and love serving for the area, and we're looking forward to having a great conversation with you about how local government can be most effective.
Hello, I'm Amy Whitworth.
And I'm Larry Bennett, and we hope that you'll join us on some hikes. Amy, tell us about your hiking experience.
I am an avid hiker. I am new to the Berkshires and this part of the world, but it was the forest and the mountains and the rivers that drew me here. I have spent years hiking in the West, and I hope to learn the beauty of this area.
And I moved here 8 years ago from Wichita, Kansas, and almost immediately discovered some of the hiking opportunities in Columbia County and Berkshire County. We hope to take you on 6 hikes, mostly in Columbia County, far eastern Columbia County, 1 in Rensselaer County. They are moderate to easy hikes, and the length will be maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. We hope you'll join us.
Hi everyone, my name is Beth Dillman. I live in Egremont, and I've been leading hikes for various organizations in the Berkshires since 2007. I've led hikes for Ollie in the last 7 years, including introductions to hiking, wildflower walks, and hikes on the Appalachian Trail. This fall, I will be leading walks on our all-persons trail, or accessible trails, in the Berkshires. And I happen to be out on one today. I am at Thomas and Palmer in Great Barrington, and I'll try to turn the camera so that you can see the trail. I hope you saw that. It's a flat, pressed gravel trail. It's quite easy, definitely easy to walk on. So those of you who have balance or mobility issues or are at risk of falling can use your mobility device, say a walker or a wheelchair, for example, on these wonderful wide flat trails. Even if you don't use a mobility device, but if you're uncomfortable on trails with rocks and roots, then these trails are for you. Indeed, these trails are for everyone, for all of us. Usually they are less than a mile long. Many of the paths have been built in the last few years, so you may not even know about them. We will meet at 6 different properties in the Berkshires and explore the trail and reap the benefits of outdoors and fresh air. We'll observe nature and talk about what we see. We all deserve the opportunity to enjoy the forest, a stream, a field, a long view, and the sunshine. We don't have to be able to cover a certain number of miles at a certain speed. We can go at our own speed, and maybe we'll even see more than a fast hiker. We will find trailheads with accessible bathrooms, so no need to worry about that. So I hope you will join with us to explore accessible trails so you can use them many times in the future. Nature is a wonderful prescription for elevating mood, decreasing anxiety and anger, lowering stress, and much more. And especially, we love the enjoyment of nature. Thank you.